Drax sneered as the quivering human, begging for mercy before him, failed to grasp the dire consequences of his insolence. His ridicule was about to unleash Earth's formidable wrath upon the Galactic Empire. The year was 2157, and humanity's influence had expanded across the cosmos. They had encountered numerous alien civilizations, some amicable and others hostile. The most formidable adversary was the Galactic Dominion, a formidable coalition of advanced extraterrestrial species led by the shrewd and ruthless Empress Zara. The Galactic Dominion viewed humanity's swift expansion as a threat that required immediate suppression. Earth, in desperate need of allies and resources for survival, decided to send a seasoned diplomat, Ethan Caldwell, to the Dominion's capital planet. His mission was to negotiate trade deals and foster peaceful relations. Ethan entered the opulent throne room of Empress Zara, where gilded obsidian walls and a thick haze of incense filled the air. Zara reclined on her levitating throne, her eyes contemptuously scanning Ethan's modest attire. "You dare seek an audience with me, insignificant creature?" Zara scoffed, her gaze dripping with disdain. "Your kind is nothing but a pest compared to the might of my dominion. We could obliterate your world with a mere thought." Ethan, standing resolute, met Zara's arrogance with unwavering calm. "Underestimate humanity at your peril. We may be new to this galactic stage, but we have weathered countless trials and emerged stronger. It would be unwise to provoke us." Zara's incredulous laughter filled the room. "Is that a threat, worm? The Dominion could subdue your pitiful Earth within a week if we chose." A thin smile crossed Ethan's face as he activated his wrist device. A hologram materialized, revealing humanity's formidable fleet of warships and planet-destroying weapons. "We are not defenseless, Empress Zara. Additionally, there is a resource on Earth that your Dominion has been coveting. Our scientists have uncovered its extraordinary value." Zara's eyes flickered with a hint of interest. Ethan had managed to capture the Empress's attention. As the negotiations concluded, Ethan bid Zara a grim farewell. "Remember, humans are not to be trifled with. We will defend our home and our interests with unyielding determination. Do not test us." Leaving the throne room under heavy guard, Ethan knew this was just the beginning. The fragile peace between humanity and the Galactic Dominion teetered on a knife's edge. Failure in diplomacy would mean war, a conflict that could reshape the galaxy. Humanity's survival depended on standing firm against the Dominion's might. Zara's triumph was short-lived as an aide burst into the throne room, visibly agitated. Kneeling, the aide announced, "Empress, urgent news from the front. Our forces have launched a surprise assault on the human colony of Frontier Beta. The settlement's defenses fell swiftly, and we have taken the colonists as prisoners." Zara's face twisted into a cruel smile. "Excellent. The hairless apes will learn the cost of their defiance." Turning her gaze back to Ethan, she said, "It seems you spoke too soon. Your precious colony is now ours, along with its resources. This is only the beginning. Your people will either submit to us or be crushed." Fury ignited in Ethan's eyes as his diplomatic composure shattered. "You treacherous monsters! There will be consequences for this unwarranted aggression. Humanity will not sit idly by as you enslave our people and seize our worlds." Zara's laughter was cold and mocking. Bold words from a powerless insect. "Return to your planet and prepare for our domination, if you make it there alive." With a dismissive wave, Zara summoned her guards, who surrounded Ethan with crackling energy pikes. Ethan glared at the Empress with seething hatred as he was forcibly escorted out. The journey back to Earth was a blur of rage and humiliation for Ethan. The loss of Frontier Beta, a symbol of humanity's expansion, was a devastating blow. But beneath his fury, determination hardened within him. This meant war. Earth's leadership reacted with outrage to the attack. There was no longer any talk of diplomacy or compromise with the Dominion. Humanity would fight to protect its colonies and its freedom. Recruitment centers overflowed with volunteers, and factories shifted to wartime production. To Ethan's surprise, he was appointed a key strategist for Earth's defense. In a crisis council session, Ethan presented his strategy. The Dominion's sneak attack reveals their true nature. We face a ruthless enemy with superior numbers and technology. To prevail, we must be smart and unconventional. He outlined a three-pronged approach. First, we need to form alliances with other spacefaring races that resent Dominion dominance. Second, we must sabotage their war efforts from within. Deploy covert teams to gather intelligence, identify weaknesses, and disrupt supply lines. Lastly, we must expedite research and development on our rare resource to create new military technology and level the playing field. The following days were consumed by intense discussion and preparation. Earth mobilized for war like never before, and the galaxy held its breath. Late one night, Ethan received an encrypted message from an anonymous sender claiming to be a high-ranking Dominion official named Zorn. Zorn professed opposition to Zara's aggressive policies and offered to secretly aid Earth by leaking sensitive information about the Dominion's strategies and vulnerabilities in exchange for access to humanity's unique resource. Torn between suspicion and desperation, Ethan debated the risks of trusting Zorn. However, if Zorn was genuine, his assistance could tip the scales in humanity's favor. After agonizing consideration, Ethan decided to take the chance. He contacted Earth Command via a secure channel. "I've received intel from a Dominion defector," Ethan reported. "They're planning to attack our outpost near their border, but I have a plan." Over the next few days, Ethan orchestrated a covert operation. Ships quietly evacuated personnel and equipment from the outpost, leaving behind a decoy indicating a major discovery on a nearby planet. The bait worked. A Dominion scout ship soon arrived, and Ethan watched from the bridge of his concealed vessel as a massive Dominion fleet warped in, falling for the trap. Ethan commanded, "Now!" Earth's forces emerged from hiding, catching the Dominion's supply convoy off guard. Laser fire erupted as Earth's ships tore into the enemy's logistical backbone. Simultaneously, encrypted signals triggered coordinated strikes from Earth's allies against Dominion military bases. The Dominion's war machine ground to a halt. On her flagship, Empress Zara raged at her subordinates. How did they know? How were they prepared? Her eyes darted frantically. "It doesn't matter. Prepare the Omega weapon. We will annihilate their colonies and break their spirit." Ethan's blood ran cold upon intercepting this transmission. "We have to stop that weapon," he ordered. An infiltration team was readied, and Ethan led them to the Dominion flagship, sneaking through dark corridors until they reached the weapon control room. A fierce firefight ensued, two of Ethan's team members falling in the chaos. Despite being wounded, Ethan pressed on, setting the charges. As the final explosive was placed, he was hit in the shoulder. His team dragged him to safety just as the charges detonated, reducing the Omega weapon to debris. Alarms blared as they fought their way back to the shuttle. In the aftermath, Ethan observed the crippled Dominion flagship. It floated powerless in space, a once mighty vessel now rendered useless. The tide had turned. In the days that followed, Ethan found himself in an unexpected role, peace negotiator. He faced stunned Dominion officials, finalizing the terms of their surrender. "We will share technology and resources," Ethan declared, "but with strict oversight and limits on military expansion, along with reparations for the colonies you've attacked." The Dominion grudgingly agreed, and the treaty was signed. Ethan allowed himself a brief moment of satisfaction, only to be interrupted by a junior analyst. "Sir, you need to see this." Ethan's face darkened as he reviewed the report. "Get me a secure line to Earth," he ordered. The report revealed a shadowy faction within the Dominion operating beyond Zara's control. This new information could change everything. "Ethan, I can get you inside," Zorn's voice crackled over the secure channel. "But security is tight. One wrong move and we're done." Ethan assembled his most trusted operatives and, under the cover of darkness, they infiltrated the remote Dominion facility. Using Zorn's codes, they bypassed the outer defenses. Inside, they discovered a massive chamber with a swirling vortex of light and energy. At its center floated an artifact of immense power. Zorn gasped, "I didn't know its true nature." Ethan's team secured the room and accessed computer terminals, revealing chilling plans to harness the artifact's power not just for conquering Earth, but for ruling the entire galaxy. Alarms blared, and the team was ambushed by Dominion guards. Two more operatives fell as Ethan fought to escape, clutching the artifact. They barely made it to their ship, which rocketed into orbit. Suddenly, the artifact began to glow, warping reality around it. Zorn's panicked voice warned, "The Dominion has dispatched an armada to reclaim the artifact at any cost." Determined to prevent the artifact from falling into any hands, Ethan ordered a course beyond known space. The ship strained as it ventured into uncharted territory, with the Dominion fleet closing in. As containment protocols were initiated, the artifact's energy threatened to tear the ship apart. In a desperate final act, Ethan's experimental weaponry, powered by Earth's secret resource, engaged the Dominion fleet. Despite the overwhelming numbers, the enemy ships exploded in silent bursts of light. But for every one destroyed, 2 more took its place. With power reserves critical and the containment field destabilizing, Ethan's ship was left adrift. The artifact vanished into a shimmering pocket dimension, and the Dominion fleet scattered. The prize was lost forever. As the adrenaline subsided, the true cost became evident. Ethan's ship was stranded, systems failing one by one, deep in the void of space. As Ethan Caldwell stared at the dark void of space through the viewport, the reality of their dire situation sank in. The ship was stranded in an uncharted region, its systems failing one by one. The artifact was secured, but at a staggering cost. The crew, battered and exhausted, gathered in the command center, their faces etched with determination and worry. "Status report," Ethan barked, his voice strained but resolute. Lieutenant Sarah Kim, the ship's engineer, looked up from her console, her expression grim. "We've lost power to most of the ship's systems. Life support is running on emergency reserves, but we have less than 48 hours before it fails completely." Ethan's eyes met those of his senior officers. "We need to find a way to get back to known space and alert Earth Command. We can't let the artifact's loss be in vain." The crew scrambled to assess their options. The Dominion Armada was still out there, and the artifact's energy signature would undoubtedly draw more attention. Meanwhile, the ship's AI struggled to maintain minimal functionality. The remnants of the crew's morale were tested, but Ethan knew they had to press on. "Commander Caldwell," Sarah said, her voice tight with stress, "there's a chance we can use the ship's remaining power to send a distress signal. If we can reach a nearby star system, we might be able to make contact with a friendly civilization or a passing vessel." Ethan nodded. "Do it. Prepare the signal, and see if we can align our remaining sensors to detect any nearby ships. We have to get out of this void and back into the fray." As Sarah worked on the distress signal, Ethan gathered his senior officers for a strategy session. They needed to make the best use of their dwindling resources. "We've survived the Dominion's assault and safeguarded the artifact, but our fight is far from over. Our priority is to get back to Earth, but we must also prepare for the inevitable counterattack." Hours turned into a tense, restless wait. The crew's spirits were buoyed slightly by the faint hope of rescue. Then, just as their hope was waning, an alert sounded. Sarah's eyes widened as she glanced at her screen. "Commander, we've detected an approaching vessel," she announced. "It appears to be a small freighter, and it's broadcasting a distress signal similar to ours." Ethan's heart raced. "Open a communication channel. Let's see if they're friendly." A crackling signal came through, and a voice filled with static spoke. "This is Captain Ilya Moros of the freighter Starlight Voyager. We received your distress signal. Are you in need of assistance?" Ethan breathed a sigh of relief. "Captain Moros, this is Commander Ethan Caldwell of the Earth vessel Vanguard. We're stranded and in critical condition. We need immediate assistance and a way back to known space." Captain Moros's voice was reassuring. "Understood, Commander. We're on our way. We'll guide you to the nearest star system and provide medical and technical support. Hold tight." Within hours, the Starlight Voyager arrived, its sleek hull cutting through the dark expanse. A docking maneuver was carefully executed, and the crew of the freighter began to assist with repairs and medical aid. While Ethan and his crew were tended to, he briefed Captain Moros on their mission and the recent events. Moros's eyes widened as Ethan detailed the loss of the artifact and the Dominion's aggressive actions. "This is more serious than I imagined," Moros said. "We have some connections with other spacefaring races that might be able to help. I'll make arrangements to contact them." As the Starlight Voyager made its way to a nearby star system, the crew's spirits lifted. They knew they had a chance to regroup and plan their next move. Earth needed to know what had happened, and they needed to prepare for the Dominion's retaliation. Back on Earth, the situation was dire. The Dominion's attack on Frontier Beta had galvanized the planet's resolve. Military production was at full capacity, and diplomatic efforts were underway to forge alliances with other races who opposed the Dominion's rule. In a secretive chamber within Earth Command, President Angela Winters and her senior advisors reviewed the latest intelligence reports. The news of the artifact's disappearance was a bitter blow, but Ethan's report had provided a crucial lead. "We must act decisively," President Winters said, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "The Dominion will not rest until they have crushed us. We need to escalate our efforts and utilize every available resource." In the star system where the Starlight Voyager and the Vanguard had docked, Ethan and his team worked alongside the freighter's crew to make repairs and prepare for the next phase of their mission. They sent out a detailed report to Earth Command and reached out to potential allies with the help of Captain Moros. Soon, a coalition of spacefaring races, discontented with the Dominion's dominance, began to form. The coalition included the technologically advanced Yelvorians, the resourceful Kalans, and the enigmatic Traki. Together, they pledged to support Earth in the fight against the Galactic Dominion. As the coalition's forces assembled, Ethan and his team prepared for a critical mission: to uncover the hidden faction within the Dominion that Zorn had hinted at. This shadowy group, operating beyond Empress Zara's control, might hold the key to turning the tide in their favor. Ethan's heart was heavy with the burden of leadership, but he was resolute. The war had only just begun, and the survival of humanity and their allies depended on their ability to adapt and fight with unwavering determination. The future was uncertain, but as Earth's forces and their newfound allies readied themselves for the battles ahead, they held on to the hope that their combined strength would prevail against the might of the Galactic Dominion. The coalition's rallying cry echoed through the stars, bringing together an alliance of races determined to challenge the Galactic Dominion's tyranny. As the Vanguard and the Starlight Voyager continued their journey through the star system, preparations were underway for the next critical phase of the war. Ethan Caldwell, now a key strategist within the coalition, worked tirelessly with Captain Ilya Moros and the representatives of their allied races. The makeshift command center aboard the Starlight Voyager was abuzz with activity as the coalition forces planned their counteroffensive. In the command center, Ethan and his senior officers reviewed the latest intelligence reports. Holographic displays illuminated their faces as they analyzed Dominion troop movements and supply lines. "We've identified several strategic targets," Ethan said, pointing to a map of Dominion facilities. "Our priority should be disrupting their supply chains and striking key military installations to weaken their infrastructure. At the same time, we need to investigate the shadowy faction Zorn mentioned. If they are truly opposed to Empress Zara, they could be valuable allies, or at least a source of critical intelligence." Captain Moros nodded in agreement. "Our freighter networks have detected unusual activity near a remote Dominion sector. It's possible that this faction is using these areas to conduct covert operations. We should investigate." Ethan agreed. "Prepare a reconnaissance mission to investigate these coordinates. We need to gather as much information as possible about this faction's capabilities and intentions." The coalition's forces, now bolstered by a mix of advanced Yelvorian technology and Kalan tactical expertise, prepared for the impending strike. Ships of various designs and sizes, from sleek Yelvorian cruisers to rugged Kalan freighters, assembled in formation. The Traki, with their inscrutable yet effective methods, provided critical support in coordinating the operation. As the coalition fleet moved into position, Ethan and his team boarded a stealthy recon vessel, the Spectre. Their mission was to infiltrate the Dominion sector and uncover any hidden assets or factions. The journey was tense. The Spectre navigated through dense asteroid fields and nebulous gas clouds to avoid Dominion patrols. The crew remained silent, focusing on their tasks. After several hours of evasive maneuvers, they arrived at the designated coordinates. A concealed Dominion facility loomed ahead, its exterior camouflaged against the backdrop of deep space. Ethan and his team prepared to disembark, their stealth suits blending them into the darkness. Inside the facility, they encountered a series of high-tech security measures. The team's expert hacker, Dr. Lena Torres, worked swiftly to bypass the security systems. As the door to the main operations center slid open, they entered a chamber filled with sophisticated equipment and a large holographic map. Ethan's heart raced as he scanned the map, which detailed Dominion operations across the galaxy. "This is it," he said. "We've found the heart of their network." Just then, a sudden commotion erupted. Dominion guards had detected the breach and were closing in. Ethan and his team sprang into action, evading capture and securing crucial data from the facility's terminals. The mission was a narrow escape, but they managed to extract valuable intelligence, including information about a hidden Dominion base and details on the mysterious faction Zorn had hinted at. The data revealed that this faction, known as the Sable Order, was working to undermine Empress Zara's rule from within. They were disillusioned with Zara's ruthless policies and were seeking allies to overthrow her. Back aboard the Starlight Voyager, the Coalition's leaders gathered to discuss the newly acquired information. "The Sable Order could be our key to destabilizing the Dominion from within," Ethan said. "We need to establish contact with them and gauge their willingness to collaborate." Captain Moros's eyes gleamed with determination. "We'll arrange a secure meeting with the Sable Order's representatives. Their cooperation could turn the tide in our favor." As negotiations with the Sable Order began, Ethan and his team worked to plan a series of coordinated strikes against Dominion targets. The Coalition forces executed precision raids, targeting key supply depots, military installations, and communication hubs. The Dominion's war machine began to show signs of strain. In the midst of the chaos, Zorn's true motives were revealed. As Ethan communicated with him, Zorn's duplicity came to light. The defector had manipulated Ethan and the Coalition for his own gain, intending to seize control of the artifact for himself. Ethan confronted Zorn in a tense confrontation. "You played us, Zorn. Why? What do you gain from this?" Zorn's eyes were cold as he replied, "The artifact's power is mine to control. The Sable Order's goals are aligned with mine. Together, we will reshape the galaxy." With Zorn's betrayal exposed, Ethan and the Coalition accelerated their plans. The Sable Order's influence was diminished, and their leaders were detained. The Coalition's focus shifted to a decisive assault on the Dominion's capital world. As the final battle loomed, the Coalition fleet assembled in readiness. The Dominion's defenses were formidable, but Ethan's strategic planning and the combined strength of their allies gave them a fighting chance. The battle for the galaxy's future would be fought on the surface of Empress Zara's homeworld. The Coalition's forces launched their assault, engaging Dominion forces in a fierce clash. Ethan led a critical strike against Zara's command center, aiming to capture or eliminate the Empress and end the conflict. Amidst the chaos of battle, Ethan and his team fought their way through the heart of the Dominion's stronghold. As they breached Zara's inner sanctum, the Empress confronted them, her face a mask of defiance and fury. "You dare challenge me?" Zara spat, her voice echoing with rage. "You are but insects before the might of the Dominion." Ethan met her gaze with unyielding resolve. "We fight for our homes, our people, and our freedom. Your reign ends today." In a climactic confrontation, Ethan and Zara clashed. The battle was fierce, but Ethan's determination and skill proved superior. As Zara fell, the Dominion's grip on the galaxy began to falter. The Coalition's forces, having achieved their objective, began to restore order. The galaxy's many races, once subjugated by the Dominion, now faced a new era of cooperation and rebuilding. Back on Earth, President Angela Winters addressed the United Nations of humanity and their allies. "We have achieved a great victory, but the work ahead is just beginning. Together, we will build a future of peace and cooperation." Ethan Caldwell, now a celebrated hero and leader in the new Interstellar Alliance, looked to the stars with hope. The future was uncertain, but humanity had proven its resolve. The message to the galaxy was clear. Earth would not be cowed, and its people would stand resolute against any force that sought to threaten their existence. The galaxy, once marred by conflict and tyranny, now looked towards a new chapter. A chapter where unity and strength prevailed, and where the lessons of war paved the way for a brighter future.